I'm happy to see you back.
Feels good to be back.
Okay. How have you been doing this week?
I've had some challenging days here and there. Overall, I think I've been doing a little bit better with the techniques that you showed me, and yeah, we're working. We're getting there.
Okay, that's a plus. I'm happy to hear it. So last time when we did your generalized anxiety scores, you did score 18, which is considered pretty severe anxiety, which we expected. We discussed that a little bit. So this week I would like for you to fill out another one for me. And like you know how it is, so 0 is not at all, does not apply to you. A 1 is several days, 2 is more than half days, and then 3 is nearly every day. So this is 7 questions. Again, just read through these, take your time, no rush. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just ask and we can work through it together if we need to. But if you'll go ahead and fill this out for me. And also, so disclosure, you do know that I'm a mandated reporter. We've talked about this before. Anything that you share with me and stuff, I am legally obligated to report if it's concerning behaviors, thoughts of self-harm or harming others. I do have to report that. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns throughout, just ask me.
Okay.
And then also when you're through with that, we can also go over the journal entries that I had you do last week as well.
Okay.
With your anxiety and your thought patterns and stuff, and we'll discuss that too during this session. Okay. So a lot better. We're at 16 this week. So tell me a little bit about what changes you made this week that you feel like you're a little bit less anxious than what you were before.
I was using the techniques, like yesterday, I took my daughter swimming, so like I was very anxious at times whenever she wanted to be independent, swimming on her own.
Sure.
I left her with her aunt for a minute, and I went and I did the grounding technique.
Okay.
So that really helped a lot.
Awesome.
And then the other day I did the breathing techniques a couple times throughout the day. I was just feeling overwhelmed with everything going on. I had to work, so just had to relax it.
Take a step back,
Yes.
reflect, breathe. Okay.
Center
Good.
myself.
Yes, absolutely. That's amazing to hear. So, I'd like to go over this with you a little bit. So, the feeling nervous and anxious or on edge, you did score a 3. So, nearly every day. Is there a certain time throughout the day that you feel like it's a little bit more elevated than normal, or certain situations that might make you a little bit more anxious?
Typically, whenever my daughter gets up, I feel like there's a lot to do. You got to get her changed, get her fed. I feel like there's just a lot of rushing around, trying to like get everything done for myself as well that I need to get done.
Right. About what time does she wake up in the morning?
Between 8:30 and 9.
Okay.
and then it's just nonstop from there. So
Right. It can be exhausting, I'm
Yes.
sure. Okay. So not being able to stop or control worry. So you did score yourself as a 1, which is a lot better than what it was last time. So I'm really proud of you for being able to kind of work on that and make those changes that you needed to make. What do you feel like you have done in addition to the deep breathing exercises, the grounding techniques? What's some self-care that you've done for yourself to where you can kind of take a step back, relax a little bit, and not hyperfixate on the worry and the concerns and just the fear of unknown?
my mom's been coming over a little more, helping out, so I don't feel as stressed with the houseload work
Okay.
that needs to be done and taking care of my child, along with going to the baby appointments. So that's been very helpful, and it takes a village, and
Absolutely.
I'm depending on other people now.
Sure.
So
How does it feel to be able to kind of let go and allow people that care about you to help you, and like allow yourself to just be able to let go at some point and allow that help?
it was scary at first. I was raised to be very independent, and I like to be independent, but I know it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely. So I'm really happy to hear that you do have a really positive support system in your life. And you're right, it does take a village, especially with your husband being working out of town. You having those feelings of being a single parent right now, and having that support system to kind of lean on and help you when you need it. So I'm really proud of you for accepting the help.
Yes.
So that's a big, big plus. Next one is worrying too much about different things. You did score yourself as a 3. Tell me a little bit what was going on with that, worrying too much about different things.
Just what my daughter was doing, like I mentioned, we went swimming, so just like her wanting to go and do it on her own.
Okay.
And just trying to go out too far, or like trying to jump in when I wasn't there. Just
That constant worry.
Yes.
Okay. Constantly kind of feeling like you have to be on edge.
Yes.
Okay.
And be like over top of her.
Okay. Trouble relaxing. You scored yourself as a 3. What are some things that you do that you enjoy doing that you feel relaxing, even if it's things with your daughter or by yourself? Like, what's some stuff that you enjoy doing in your outside time?
I do like to read, especially when she goes to bed.
Okay.
I'll scroll like TikTok, just mindless thing.
Sure.
Just relax and not really have to think about anything, really. I mean,
Yeah. Okay. And then being so restless that it's hard to sit still. You scored yourself as a 2, so that's better than what you scored last time. What have you been doing to kind of like work on that with, if you do sit down or maybe you lay in bed at night, being able to relax and really just take it all in and just be able to be at peace, not feeling that constant like I have to be doing something, I have to check on this, I have to do that. Being able to be present in the moment, just to relax. What have you been doing to?
I've been
do
doing
that?
the breathing.
Okay.
That's helped a lot. That really does center me, and I feel more at peace, and I can actually relax and just enjoy the moment.
Okay. Very good. And then becoming easily annoyed or irritable. You did score yourself as a 3. I would imagine that it has a lot to do with having a toddler.
Yes.
Very overwhelming. Plus you're working and stuff, taking care of your home, the farm and everything like that. So I would, and the heat too.
Yes, the heat is hot.
Yes, absolutely. So what have you been doing for yourself when you do start to feel like that threshold getting ready to meet of I'm getting irritated, I'm getting annoyed, I'm getting overwhelmed? What have you been doing for yourself for that?
I just try to sit down and like think about positive things instead of what is annoying me at the time.
Okay.
I try to like redirect my daughter, just to keep her mind off of whatever it is she's trying to do at that time.
Right.
So
I really I really like that you said sitting down, being positive, kind of taking a step back, reevaluating, maybe like a pause process and proceed, to not feel so overwhelmed that you just lose all control. So I'm really proud of you for being able to do that, and I really hope that you'll be able to continue doing the techniques that we've talked about, and in addition to other techniques that I'll be talking about today in this session, that might be able to help you when you have those feelings of being overwhelmed and easily annoyed or irritable. And then the last one, feeling afraid as if something awful might happen. You scored yourself as a 2. Tell me a little bit about that, feeling afraid as if something awful might happen. What thoughts are you having behind that?
Just where my husband's working out of town, just what could happen, you know, him waking up or making it to work, being in a wreck. I mean, just a list of things that just run through my head daily.
Okay. All right. So thank you for answering these for me. This is really going to help us in today's session. So the next thing I'm going to start doing is I've got 2 techniques that we're going to work on today, and those consist of challenging your thoughts and your beliefs behind things. The struggles that you've had with the fear of the unknown, death and dying, that kind of constant worry, and just struggling with that, getting to a point where you feel like you don't know how to control it or you can get through it. That can be very debilitating at times, and it can be difficult to work through. But I think if we focus on what we're gonna do today and work with some SMART goals. Have you ever heard about SMART goals?
No.
Okay. So SMART goals it's an acronym for it's specific, so that's for the S. It's measurable, that's the M. A is attainable, R is relevant, and T is time bound. So these are going to be specific goals solely for you, and your anxiety, constant worry, the fear of the unknown. And we will be able to measure that, continuing with the GAD, and then there's some other scales that we can do too to kind of like determine like how you're doing overall with treatment, but also we want to have like a timely manner of when we want to achieve these goals by. So this is our 3rd session. I would really like to see your overall score get down to maybe like a 13, maybe a 12, and hopefully it can get down even more. What do you think about that, working on SMART goals and processing that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like that. I feel like that would help me in the long run and be able to process and, obtain and do whatever I need to do with my feelings at that time.
Okay.
So.
Sure. So the first kind of questions I'd like to ask you about the thought patterns and the thought process, I would like for you to recall recent anxiety-provoking situations. So you can think about that for a moment, the first thing that might come to your mind, and share with me, if you don't mind to, the situation that you can think of that kind of provoked those anxious symptoms.
The other night I had worked midnights.
Okay.
So I got home and my daughter was already awake. So I was just overwhelmed already.
Yeah.
Because I was ready for bed. So trying to get her to go down for a nap with me at that time. And I just got to thinking about how am I going to do this with 2 children. It's just going to be overwhelming, especially if I'm by myself.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was just the
Pretty
rabbit hole.
overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was a bad mom for not being able to,
Okay.
or like feel that way.
Yeah. So you went ahead and shared your thoughts. I appreciate that. So what emotions were you feeling during that time when you were feeling those feelings and thinking those thoughts? What kind of emotions were you feeling?
I was overwhelmed, tired. I got angry.
Okay. What's some alternative thoughts that you can think of that might be different? Because you're not a bad mom. Like you're doing the absolute best you can. What's some things that you can think of that might be more realistic in those thoughts?
I giving her time, like laying with her, watching shows.
Giving yourself time, giving
Yeah.
yourself grace, because you're a good mom. You talk about your daughter all the time. She's healthy, she's cared for. So when we have those negative thought patterns and stuff, we need to kind of pause, process, and perceive, why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this? Think about that for a moment, and then what I'm feeling right now, feel those feelings, and then changing those thought patterns, kind of removing the catastrophic thought patterns into more realistic thought patterns. So I'd like to challenge you this week, before you come back to our next session, to, when you are having those thoughts and those feelings, in a journal entry that you were doing before, I'd like you to continue doing that. Journal your immediate thoughts when you're going through that, and then also your emotions. And then I would like for you to process that for a moment, and then think of an alternative thought that is more realistic, and more like a healthier thought pattern. You think you could do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the next thing I'd like to work on is like challenging those beliefs. What makes you think that you aren't doing a good job with your daughter?
I feel like I get a short temper sometimes with her.
Okay.
When I'm overwhelmed and anxious. I feel like I snap a little faster than I typically would on another day, or
Okay.
like not in that moment that I'm feeling that way.
Sure. Okay.
So
You were talking about having a good support system, your mother being involved and really helping you out too. I would like to think that maybe if you do get so overwhelmed and you get exhausted and stuff and you just need a break, I would like to think that you would be able to reach out to her and she would be able to help you too. Have you ever thought about reaching out to her, or is that difficult for you to ask for that
no,
help?
I don't mind to. She does have a job, so I mean,
Okay.
working midnights. Most people are at work when I get off work,
Right.
so that's typically the time I need the help
Okay.
with that. But I know she would be there if I needed her. So
Okay. All right. So, what's some emotions that you notice that come up when you do get overwhelmed? I know that you were saying you get angry, irritable. Is there any other emotions that you struggle with whenever you're going through a difficult situation that might be hard to process or cope with?
I think that's pretty much it.
So the irritability
Yeah,
and
I get very irritable.
Okay. Okay, and the next thing is, what are your goals for this session? What is some stuff that you would like to work on now that you have some of those coping techniques and those different strategies to be able to kind of work on your anxious symptoms? What's some things that you're wanting to work on throughout this session and on to the next?
I'm just still working on the deep breathing and maybe, stepping back when I do get irritable, because I don't want my daughter to see me that way. Like, I want her not to worry
Right.
about me either. And I mean, she's at an age where she's taking in everything, and I don't want her to see me as always angry or
Yeah.
upset.
Okay. So I think it's really good that you're very self-aware of those things. Being able to step back, kind of like what you've already talked about, and do those deep breathing exercises and the grounding techniques to work through those emotions, and just realizing that you're doing a good job. Give yourself some grace. And that's the thing too. If you get so overwhelmed, and let's say that you can't wait until our next session, call me. Call the office. We might be able to get you in sooner. Whatever you need, please always reach out if you're going through too much, or you just need to talk and get some clarification. We're always available, so I want you to know that. Okay. So, is there anything that you can think of? Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns before we kind of finish up here today and move on to rescheduling and getting you in for next week.
No, I feel like this is a very good session. So.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, I really appreciate you talking to me, and I look forward to meeting with you soon.
Okay.
So we'll get you scheduled back in.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.